Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race. Riders are just about getting ready to get going here out on course, and we've got actually something kind of special for you today. It's going to be the first time that we are back out on the reverse courses for racing, actually, and it looks like riders are just getting going in the A category right now, and this will be the first time that we've actually ever seen in a race broadcast the right hand turn off of the pier. And today in the race today we are doing it looks like 4 laps of the reverse hilly Watopia, and we haven't seen this kind of a race actually. I believe it's been since we were in beta, like way long time ago, when the riders were organizing their own races starting at the start finish line. There was no pier actually hanging out at the start finish line, so really cool to see that Zwift has added the ability to run events in the reverse direction, and it's going to be a very different kind of race today, I think, because of this, as far as what kind of tactics the riders are going to be playing out on course today. I do have along with me Zwift Community Live Productions Manager, Mr. Jonathan Noblet, coming from the shed in Edinburgh. Johnny, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Nathan. Yeah, it's gonna be good fun. It's been a long time since we've done any reverse racing. We've had a few testers the past week, so yeah, hopefully this will be the start of more varied courses and a bit more exciting racing out on Zwift.
Yeah, for sure. I'm super excited to start, and I think a lot of the racers are too. They've been racing the forward directions for a while now, and there's a couple of reasons that this was done. First of all, Watopia is starting to get, or all the courses are starting to get extremely crowded with all the new people coming into the game, which is really awesome. At the same time, with a lot of people, a lot of avatars on one course, and with a lot of different events running at the same time, it can become a little bit difficult to parse everybody out. So having them run in the opposite directions, maybe events one day and races the other day and vice versa, it can really cause a lot more of a almost closed course like environment. Obviously not completely closed course, but it definitely is going to have a lot less interference. So really cool of Zwift to open this up. And I don't remember commentating this direction actually in such a long time. I'm not used to them actually going through the Essies this direction. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, we're already going through the Essies, instead of it being a at the finish. It's now the initial kick here, and our thing's going to be breaking apart through these little punchers through here. I think it's going to be a little bit more Grupo Compacto through here for the A racers. We've got a huge amount of racers as they fly through the Essies here. You do see a few off the back there. It looks like D. Norton, it looks like just barely hanging on. Our Laws there with Yamasaki, it looks like coming out of Japan as well. S. Franklin here just barely hanging on. 2.8, 4.0 watts per kilogram, 173 beats per minute, followed by Nielsen and Fenwick then a little ways off the back. Millward is in here as well. Stewart and Millward, it looks like, coming out of Great Britain. But this is the lead group. We do have Ludendorff here, actually a streamer on YouTube, actually. I wonder if you may be live riding for the KRT team. Mark McIntosh is there with Allenby, one of the strong men to be watching out for as well. Up toward the front, we do have Austrain coming out of Norway. Stephen Fleetwood, actually, it looks like maybe our sole Zwift on board rider that I have up right now, but we can see the live action coming from Stephen right now, coming out of Great Britain, actually, as he makes his way down toward the sprint section out on course. He's riding for Vision out there with Zwift on board. So good to have Stephen with us for Zwift on board. And we'll get a lot of shots from Stephen as much as we possibly can throughout the race today. We'll see if we can get the rest of our Zwift on boarders up and running as well. We do have 3 or 4, I think, sitting in the somewhere in the background there. But M. Larson is here from ODZ, another one to watch out for. I think this is a rider who does fairly well actually in the races. I believe we've seen him on the podium in the last couple of weeks here. We're going to go ahead and grab all of the live results coming from ZwiftPower.com. Super impressive, actually. Looks like the watchers are picking them up very quickly here. At the 0.4 kilometer mark was the first time that they were picked up, and we will have it looks like Vegan Porsche's out there. I had a ride with him last night, actually. Me, him, and Shane Miller were all out doing the volcano route a little bit, riding out there. But it looks like Vegan is jumping in there. He's got 11th, and a 5th place in the last 2 weeks. But looking for the ODZ rider in this pack, and what his last Larson, I think, is definitely going to be one to watch out for. Webb currently on the DQ list. We're going to see if Zada's going to take care of that anytime soon, but Webb making his way toward the front. So if you have any questions about that at any time, like what's going on with these guys that keep on getting DQs, sometimes it's because they have not submitted any kind of files to the community organization that is making sure that everything's kind of under wraps up at the front of the A categories. Anybody who starts producing 5.0 watts per kilogram or more at the front of these races, the community does have an organization that goes, okay, you're starting to produce some pro numbers, send us some files, let's make sure that everything is up to par, and then they check those out, and things are usually good to go, or they work with them to make sure that they can continue racing just fine. So it looks like, though, Webb, I believe, did submit some. We'll have to see if he does have that Zada badge over at ZwiftPower.com. So we do have D. Jager here coming out of the Netherlands, it looks like, making their way over to the bridge now. And this is going to be the main place on course that things are really going to break apart. I mean, this is about 3:45. I'm going to guess, like, if they absolutely hammer this all out to the top, everything they got, I'm guessing right around the 3:45 mark, up to 4 minutes, depending on how hard they go. With 4 laps total. I think this first one, though, it's usually they usually kind of want to break things apart a little bit on the first lap. So I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty fast one here, as you can take a look down from up on our helicopter view right now. Things are about to heat up with about a 7 to 8% gradient up the reverse Watopia climb.
Yeah, notice in this group of about 20 riders, there's a lot of new riders in here. There's 3 guys coming out of Japan who have hopped over and joined the European KISS race today, so a big welcome to those guys, and great to see even more nationalities out on today's European race, out on course. A few other guys in there as well. B Velo Viewer, who I believe could also be the same Ben who actually started off Velo Viewer, so welcome him to Zwift Racing.
Really interesting. Now, which rider are we talking about here? Say that. Can you get that one more time? I had a tweet come at me from Educating Nathan Guerra, actually, just recently on Vikings.
B Velo Viewer is Ben Velo Viewer, and I think if it is, judging by the name, Ben and Velo Viewer is one of the main guys behind that website, which gives us a lot of information based on Strava.
There he is. I see him. Got him right here. 7.7 watts per kilogram, 177 beats per minute currently right now. Hanging on just at the back of this group. This is going to be the breaking point right now. The elastic will snap at one point here, out on course here, and we do have Ben from Velo Viewer here hammering away here, 6.5 watts per kilogram, trying to give it a little kick, 180 beats per minute or so. Cartwright is right ahead of him, one of the riders to watch out for. Jay Shane is there as well, coming out of Canada, Cat 1 racer, or maybe even a pro racer, I believe, coming from Canada here. We do have Vegan Porsche, we were talking about there, riding for Vision Psych. A lot of big hitters actually showing up tonight. Hedgehog's in there, Pierre Ficati from ODZ, one to watch out for sure on that. And so it looks a ton of super strong riders showing up today. Like a Canyon. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Ganyan, and we know who this one is. Like a Canyon. Oh my goodness, I love the ODZ boys, are hilarious. And Ganyan here, because we always call him Ganyan like a Ken, because they were educating Nathan Guerra with how to say individuals' names out on course. We appreciate the humor. That's for sure. Very much so, Mr. Ganyan. So ODZ has a lot of representation up toward the front here with Pierre Ficati, 7.6 watts per kilogram, hammering away here. It looks like at 179 beats per minute. Larson, a teammate, just following very close there. And then Ganyan like a Canyon is there, all out of Canada. It looks like. like up toward the front here, all those Canadian flags on the right-hand side. If you're not familiar with Zwift, this is a virtual cycling massive multiplayer online game that people are competing in right now in this race. You don't just have to use it for racing. There's training with workout mode, just open world riding, joining up with group rides and riding with people who purposely stick together for the entirety of the group ride. And there's also races for all different levels. Right now we are following the A race in the KISS Europe race right now. These are all riders who can hold 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher in this A race, but there's also a B race going on right now that is 3.2 watts per kilogram to 4.0 watts per kilogram for their functional threshold power. That is how much watts that you can hold for 1 hour straight, divided by your weight in kilograms. You get this functional threshold power, which is a ratio. And so all of these guys here and gals here at 4.0 or higher, A category, 3.2 to 4.0 B category. And for the C category, you do have 2.5 to 3.2, and anyone in the D category is 2.5 and under. And there's actually racers out on course right now in all of those categories, racing each other and being able to push each other through Cycling Made Social on Zwift. And so the really cool thing about that is everybody on course has somebody around their ability to push them, to chase them down, to do what we are calling chasing pixels. That the out there chasing pixels is one of the hardest things that I've ever personally done, and I've been reminded of it recently as I've started to do the KISS 100 race as of recently, every Saturday night / Sunday morning, hammering, and I'm reminded continually now as I'm starting to put that into my training schedule how incredibly difficult it is with this international field out on course, but gives you an amazing workout because of the international field and the continual effort you have to put out from the trainer in the indoor environment.
Yeah, some of these guys, it's great to see all the different nationalities out there and how fresh some of these guys are, depending on the day. Some of these guys will be waking up first thing in the morning and might not have everything in legs just yet, and some of them have been stocking up all through the day. And we've got a few riders in here, like we do see doing a lot of races, like I think Brett Boniface, we can't see in this front group at the moment. We do know he does a lot of time out on the bike, and it's not uncommon for him to do up to 3 races back to back on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we do have some of his teammates in here with Pura Ficati and also M. Larson, who seems to be riding for ODZ now. I think last week he wasn't actually racing at all for any team. He wasn't unattached, so looks like ODZ have pulled a great rider out of the bag there to join their ranks.
Yeah, and Larson definitely someone to watch out for. I'm seeing on the 28th, actually, just a few days ago, the Zwift in London 8 got a second place in the A race. It looks like a 5th in the EVR last week, as well as a 2nd on the same day in the BRS DCAT race. So we did a 2-a-day there. A 3rd, a win, it looks like, in the EVR Americas. I mean, this guy's been on the podium almost every single race that he's been a part of in the last 3 weeks, actually. So Larson, definitely somebody to watch out for, and that was a good pickup for ODZ. As we're coming through here, I'm not exactly sure what this little educating Nathan Guerra was all about here. I think something to do with the Vikings here. And it looks like educating Nathan Guerra, Team Vikings. So that's as a team that is out on course. I believe there might be a few of them currently out on course. Johnny, if you do see any of them, let's make sure to call them out. I'm not seeing any right now in the results currently, but Vikings are mythical strongmen from the past, from not from the Netherlands. So I did get called out that there was a Netherlands team, I believe HIK, that gave me a great education on what their team is all about, and also what Vikings were all about, because I had made a mistake. So thank you so much for educating Nathan Guerra. If you'd like to educate Nathan Guerra, or you'd like to just have a shout out in the stream live, make sure to tweet at Z Community Live. You can see that right there on my right. My right looks like left to you guys, but on my right, you can tweet out at Z Community Live. Make sure that's where it goes to. If you do Nathan Guerra, it will not work for our integrations. But if you tweet out at Z Community Live, we'll be able to bring in your tweet, and I'll be able to see them come in live. And if it is pertinent and it is friendly to the face of the book, we will definitely try to highlight anything that you're bringing our way for any information you'd like to bring. There's a lot of people out here that we don't know things about. We know things about kart Cartwright, we've seen him a lot. We've interacted with these people through the Facebook groups. We know things about Webb. We know things about the Hedgehog, Vegan Porsche. A lot of people we've hung out with, Van Geit as well. We know a lot of background on them. But we haven't seen a lot of like real world stuff for them as well. So if you know, if you are these people or you know these people, and you want to share any information about the results or things like that, if it is pertinent, it seems like it matters to the racing, we'll definitely try and highlight it through your bringing your tweets through that new social media integration that we do have in the broadcast. So it looks like we are up toward the front here again, going backwards, and the Essies now. We do have Ostrong here, it looks like, in the Kiss A race, riding unattached, coming out of Norway right now. And it looks like Larson now from ODZ, the rider we were just talking about just a few moments ago, 42 races under his belt, was riding unattached, was picked up now by that ODZ team, being attacked now by Sonic the Hedgehog out on course here. This is a rider that we've been very familiar with, but we haven't seen him a lot out on course as of recently. What are the Hedgehog's results like? We'll have to take a look and see here what is going on with the Hedgehog and his recent results. I am seeing a 33rd, a 4th, and a 10th. So they've kind of been all over the place for the Sonic here, it looks like. Maybe we can pick up some coins. And 100 and... Wowzers, this boy has done 166 races out on Zwift. 166 races for Mr. Sonic the Hedgehog coming out of the United Kingdom. The last race he did was the Kiss Latape race on the 26th, it looks like, with the 33rd. He did get a 4th place in the Kiss Europe ITT, or individual time trial race, it looks like. And a lot of top 10s here, it looks like, in the last couple weeks. Maybe he can better those. It looks like where Microsoft Net is giving us exception, and suddenly we have Kyle's face there. So we'll go back to our social media integration. I did hear something about this as of recently, and we'll see if we can bring this back up. And there we go. We do have this going back there. For some reason, the Microsoft Net was giving us a little trouble. Sorry about that, guys. That you got to see one of my sons. I got 3 sons. That is my oldest, Kyle. And him eating ice cream is one of our favorite, one of the favorite things that we like to go and do. For some reason, that's bringing up. I'll have to see what's going on with our Microsoft.net. But it looks like Hedgehog here back within the group, 4.1 watts per kilogram or so. D. Allenby there with Larson and A. Webb all up toward the front as well. We can get our Zwift on border here. It looks like in the chase group, or has he made the lead group here out on course? He is just coming through, it looks like, up toward the front of the group. Yep, so Stephen Fleetwood still in and amongst the leaders right now out on course here. So definitely able to hang in, it looks like. 4.1 watts per kilogram, about 168 beats per minute coming from Mr. Stephen Fleetwood. Hammering away there. Looking somewhat comfortable, but things are about to heat up as they are heading toward the climb, the main place out on course where they are going to be breaking things apart, it looks like. And we do have, it looks like, a little bit more of the educating of Nathan Guerra for one of the riders that are a part of this lead group still. Actually, has he fallen off from the pace here? I'm looking for Cartwright. I'm looking for a few more of the Canadian flags. His Chain was in here. Yep, J Chain is in here still as well. So we can bring, we'll head back on over the start finish line, and it looks like J Chain here, coming from Educating Nathan, is Jordan Chain from Team Jelly Belly, actually. Love Fruity Beans. So that is the rider that we're currently watching out on course right now, actually, as they make their way toward the reverse Watopia climb right now. So J Chain currently hanging out in the Mountain Goat kit, actually, here with the Watopia Mountain, with a killer time, it looks like. Let's go ahead and see here. No data right now. Well, he's holding on to it, though, but it's since we're a part of the event, we can't actually see any data for the mountain climb, because it only gives us data for the actual sections of the course that they go on. But he did go out and grab that, it looks like, for his warm-up out on course. But it looks like Allenby, one to watch out for. That's for sure. Riding unattached right now, coming out of Great Britain, 3.7, 3.8, making his way to the front. And just like in real-life riding, they really want to set themselves up for the climb climb, be toward the front of the pack. Looks like Gagnon actually, like a Canyon, has fallen off the pace now with Smith, Ludendorff, Yamakura as well. Fleetwood is actually with this race group now, so a lead group has established themselves now, it looks like, with Vegan, Porsche, and now Jordan here, Chain now making his way off the front as well. Jordan at 6.9 watts per kilogram, 58 RPMs. It looks like really starting to feel that smart trainer, I would assume, with that kind of RPMs being thrown down now. 7.3 watts per kilogram. The Hedgehog here, 7.2. It looks like Van Geit now, rider to watch out for, coming out of Belgium, but it is a Webb now with the feather power up to 8 watts per kilogram, 7.5% gradient. This is the point to really try to break things apart, and usually if there's continuance, the elastic will snap on the other side here. But it is Cartwright playing his cards maybe pretty smart here, sitting in, not using too many matches as he makes his way up toward the top of the climb now. We do have Brock now as well from the PTZ, able to hang in there just barely. Allenby now getting back on terms with that drafting power up now, followed by Primson, Loxley, Hine now making up that chase about 19 seconds back for Team Experimental. It looks like Team Experimental, one of the only teams that's been left out of the league group just now, and maybe going to need to start making a chase with a few of their team members. It looks like McIntosh is in there with Hine. They may be debated actually to get back on terms with the front of this race, actually, as it is going to be Hine coming out of Switzerland, with Fleetwood from Vision Cycling is there as well. But it is does McIntosh at 198 beats per minute, actually. Mark McIntosh, one of the butterflies out on course when it comes to heart rate, that's for sure. With his teammate Hine, will they be able to pull things in? But it looks like M. Smith here, 27 seconds out, and it continues to go out. I think this is going to be a chase group, and they're going to have to settle maybe for the places that are left over through that chase group. As I don't think, I do not believe that any of the ODZ boys that are in that group are going to make any chases. They already have, it looks like, who do we got here? Pierre Ficati as well as Larson in this league group. So ODZ have set themselves up really well, but Vegan Porsche is in here as well from Vision Cycling, it looks like, as with Webb. So two Vision Cycling riders. Cartwright is in here too, but we do have Larson now with an aero power up, making an attack off the front on that Tron bike. Nice little team setup, it looks like. They're almost as the colors exact, actually, with the ODZ matching blue, it looks like. O-String now just kind of making a little bit of a chase, not a full-on attack to chase him down, but just keeping the pace high and steady here. But it looks like this is a serious attack coming from Larson now. 6.0 watts per kilogram on the front of this course right now. It looks like we've got a little bit of a comment here coming from Szymanski. We want to see Lewis Dinsdale in his new KRT kit. Michael Szymanski is saying, Szymanski, we will get the Zwift on borders going as fast as we possibly can. But thanks a lot for the tweet out from Mr. Szymanski, a well-known viewer, hangs out in the channels a whole lot. We also have Matthew Herman here saying superb commentary. Appreciate the support coming from Mr. Matthew Herman there, throwing us a tweet there over at Z Community Live. You're going to be watching the Kiss C. We will be covering so we did not leave the this event, the A event, Matthew, just so you know. So we will be covering them as they come in toward the finish line as much as we possibly can. But the season of Ds are only doing 3 laps today. And so we are on the second lap of the A's right now. And if I were to go back to my avatar and leave the event right now, what would happen is I would have to restart Zwift, and I would completely lose all ability to watch the race whatsoever. So we will cover the Bs most likely as they come. Well, we'll cover the Bs for sure as they come into the finish line, but then we will also be able to cover any Cs and Ds who are still making their way toward the finish line. I have no idea who that rider is that just came by there. He's actually not a part of the race, actually. So he's just giving us a little bit of a show there on the downhill. But Larson here with that 11-second gap. ODZ have set themselves up very well, Johnny, it looks like, with 10-9 seconds off the front.
Yeah, it's the crazy attack that you put in there. This is what we get bound to see every single lap. These guys are doing 36.2 kilometers, 404 meters of climbing in the A and B categories. And this is when we're going to see the attacks. We're going to see it going up the reverse KOM. We're going to see it maybe on that flat section just as we head up, that false flat, as we head up to the KOM banner. And this gap here, it was up to 15 seconds at one point, but the guys have pulled it back. We saw Allenby on the front there pulling it for quite a while as he came down the hill. And now they've only got a 1 second gap, so it looks like, it's all over for this attack from Larson there. But was it a planned attack? Was it to try and set up his fellow member in Puricati in this group, as maybe he's now tired out the legs from the other guys in the bunch?
Allenby and Cartwright, they did put a solid effort in, but they are able to rest their legs down to about 3.0 watts per kilogram or so. So it's going to be difficult, I think, still for anybody to break this apart. With this many strongmen in and amongst the front group, I mean, we're looking at least, I think, somewhere like, 17 or so, 16, 17 in and amongst this group. So a huge contingent of riders who can all put out a solid effort still, probably have quite a few matches left to burn. So I'm not sure anybody's going to get away, but I think they're going to push it again through the Essies here. And this is actually a lot different experience of the Essies. I think that this course just kind of comes at you a little bit stronger continually. I mean, on the other side of, if you're going the forward direction on Watopia, it's a killer climb, but it's 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes, everything you got, and then you've got this long downhill, sit in a little while, go through the Italian village, and then hit the Essies with a whole bunch of punchy climbs over and over again. But in this way, on this direction of the course, it's a little bit different here, as immediately you're hitting these punchy climbs over and over again. You get a little bit of a rest, and then you have a 4-minute climb all the way to the top of Watopia, and then down the other side, and then within a minute, bam, you're hitting the place where the elevation comes back at you again. And so I think this one definitely is not going to give quite as much reprieve, and we're actually seeing not quite as many we're seeing actually, I would say, a little bit more attacks and a little bit more of the riders falling off from the paces here and there because of the nature of this course today. Ostring now up toward the front here, coming out of Norway, it looks like, with Allenby and Webb. Van Geit and then Larson here as well, it looks like. Swart now just hanging on the back end, sitting in really smart here at 167 beats per minute. Loxley coming from Vision Cycling as well at 4.9 right now.
Yeah, this group is getting down smaller and smaller every lap. I wonder how many riders will have left at the end of it, because we started with 20 riders on that first lap. After the second climb, we're now down to it looks like about 15 riders in this front group, so it's going to whittle down. There's a few guys in there who we think will be able to stick way at the front, right to the last lap. But I wonder if anyone's going to maybe go for a little bit of a solo attack over that final climb, or whether maybe they'll stick together for a bunch sprint at the end.
Yeah, there's got one more. They've got 2 more to go up and over the top. So 2 more to go up and over the top of the climb. So it's there's plenty of time left. It looks like they're kind of getting into a comfortable groove right now. Nobody's really breaking things up too much at this point. It looks like Swart is still hanging on the back here. And this is a rider I think we should watch out for a little bit. Looking at some of his past results, I do know that he has hit a couple of podiums in the past. And I'm going to go ahead and head on over here and see what is Schwartz's recent results. We're seeing, well, in recent times, it's been 24th, 24th, and a 15th. I believe 38 races total. Playing his cards smart, maybe hanging on the back here. His best so far in the last couple weeks was top 5, it looks like, on the 27th, about 4 days ago. So maybe he's looking to better that in the EVR Europe race that was. So maybe Swart at 4.22 watts per kilogram or so is right around where he tends to hover. His absolute best about a 4.5. So we'll see if Swart can better that. And he's definitely playing it smart, it looks like, on the back end of this race right now. And if you're wondering where we're getting all these stats, Mike Swart riding for GDVC, coming out of the United States. He's got 38 races, estimated FTP of 290 watts. And we're getting this all over at zwiftpower.com. It does have live results over there. Community website developed in conjunction with some of the KISS management, actually. So if you're looking for live results or results after the races, make sure to go check out zwiftpower.com for the official results that come from the race organizers in the community. We do have Primman here now, it looks like, up toward the front with Allenby, Brock, Hedgehog, Cartwright. We're going to go back and take a look at what's happening with the chase group. We do have Original Cyclist coming out of Switzerland, hammering now, it looks like 6.3 watts per kilogram. Gagnon, it looks like a Canyon out of Canada. Actually, this happened through the Essies, it looks like. They got a break from the main chase group, and now they have become 2 chasing riders now, trying to get back on terms with the front of this group. So he is following very closely there, and it looks like Gagnon making a smart move actually here, it looks like, not chasing the front boys, but just sitting on the wheel of a rider who is trying to bridge on up and not going to pull this rider up to the lead group since it contains 2 of his teammates actually. Van Geit is here. It looks like there is an attack actually going very early, and this is probably happening because they did not feel like the reverse climb is quite enough for them to get enough distance initially, so they're trying to break it apart a little early, try and put those heart rates, jack those heart rates up a little bit prior to hitting the climb. Any of those who are already on the rivet, already really maxed out when they actually hit the climb, are going to be unable to hang on all the way through. So I'll be going really strong here, 176 beats per minute. Cartwright, kind of these two are always going head to head, back and forth. Webb there following very closely here with Larson now, one of the riders we were talking about, 212 beats per minute with that arrow power up, strongest power up in game, trying to get enough kilometers per hour to get back on terms. He does have 63 right now to their 59. He may be able to do so, but he's got to keep going right now. 5.6 watts per kilogram, 211 beats per minute. This rider is absolutely almost hitting his max heart rate, just trying to hang on. And with that heart rate already that high, it's going to be very difficult. He's got to hit a wheel here immediately. Van Geit gets right back on terms, is actually probably the best benefactor of this entire situation. Webb as well, though, able to sit at 2.9, 2.6 watts per kilogram. Cartwright sitting in on Allenby's wheel as well. So Allenby here made to do most of the work in that attack, but they have done what they needed to with 7 seconds over the top of the rest of the riders. But it is going to be a lead group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders. Porsche is here right along with Ostring and Loxley. It looks like this is going to be the main chase group. Now Hedgehog has already fallen off the back here with Canyon now. Looks like out in no man's land after sitting on that original cyclist wheel coming out of Switzerland, and we no longer see original cyclists at all actually. So now it's going to be up to Gagnon to try and get back up to the wheels of these riders who've been dropped off, and he might be able to pick up a few places now as he starts to pick off riders who have fallen off the pace that has been absolutely crazy at the front of this race right now. We do have Allenby now with a feather power up actually with Cartwright now. That actually lowers your weight so that you get a full watt per kilogram extra on top of your power. So right now putting out actual 6.2 or 6.1, but Cartwright with that power up is putting out 7.3 because that feather power up lightens your avatar actually by 1 watt per kilogram. Now we do have Webb now making his way to the front here with Allenby, Cartwright, Van Geit now. Larson just almost back on turns, but can the ODZ rider go with it? ODZ really set themselves up well, but with 2 seconds off the back now, it's going to be difficult to get back on turns with the TKBE rider too, a team that we didn't mention actually yet. This is one of the main teams coming out of Belgium that is out on Zwift actually, and Van Geit representing well here up toward the front of the race now with Cartwright 5.8 watts per kilogram, Allenby, Van Geit, 4 riders now. Larson, 5.0 watts per kilogram. Will they fade a little bit, and will he be able to get back on terms? I'm not sure that the rest of the riders, though, behind are going to be able to bring this back. 5.8, though, coming from Chain now. We'll see if they can chase these boys down. But with 1 lap to go in 14 seconds, and that's still going out, with Van Geit now taking up the pole. You know, it seems like these 4 are willing to work together. None of them... I think Larson is the only one that has lost out here on this situation, as these guys all at the front are all on separate teams and are probably all going to be willing to work together, though, being all on separate teams and not have any infighting, because nobody's going to be able to sit in that's on the same team as the other riders. If there were a KRT rider in here and Cartwright were pulling at the front, the KRT rider would just be sitting in and they'd start playing some cat and mouse games. But because they're all on separate teams, they can kind of all just work together to make sure nobody from behind is able to catch back up. And it looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Allenby making his way to the front here, 4.7 watts per kilogram, 37 kilometers per hour, and the gap continues to go out. Larson still pulling, still trying to get back on terms, 4.9, 5.0 watts per kilogram. We saw that heart rate so incredibly high, Johnny. I don't know, but he's still steady here at a high 4 point something. So it's going to be interesting if he can continue, but Allenby, these boys are on the attack at the front. They really want to break this apart.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive attack going up that climb there. And Van Geit, he's one of these riders coming out of Belgium from Team TKBE who we've seen get stronger and stronger over the winter. It was not too long ago that he wouldn't have maybe made this front group, but looking at his results over Swift Power, he's been racing a lot in January, and he's got a lot of podium places, a lot of bronzes, a lot of silvers, a couple golds as well. So he's been out there really ripping it out on course and trying to get in those racing legs. So big ride on to Van Geit there for sticking up with these guys at the front. These guys are all pretty strong. So I think this will be our top 4. Definitely, I don't think the guys will come back from this one.
Yeah, so Van Geit, maybe something to watch out for, I think. As you were saying, I'm not sure against this field specifically. I'm not sure that he's won a race, the Allenby, Cartwright, Webb contingent there. We'll have to see if he can better the results that he's had. I'm going to take a look here real quick. We are getting from Z Community Live giving us this is a great little shot here actually as we head over toward the finish line here with 1 lap to go in just a moment here. We can actually get from Velo Viewer, we can see here exactly what the course profile is actually. 4 laps of the reverse Watopia here, 36.2 kilometers total. We are 26.7 in. The total elevation gain is 404 meters it looks like, and the max gradient of 12.5%. Somewhat a big thank you actually to Velo Viewer for bringing that information to us actually with that course profile. You can see that climb has a little leveling out on it, but that first little kick actually with that 12.5% gradient in there is definitely where things have been breaking apart. And we'll go back to the racers now as we do see actually Van Geit has fallen off.
Yeah, we've actually had Allenby had the aero power up there just as we hit the
classic,
and, he
classic
pushed
Allenby.
right hard down there, and Cartwright he got those legs up and he sprinted and hit the power and went right down after him, stuck to his wheel, and looks like Adam Webb has just managed to keep onto that wheel as well, as we have Van Geit dropping off the back there from that attack.
So the 3 big hitters are at the front now. This is going to be your podium most likely. Cartwright countering Allenby, but is this another dropout? We saw this last week. Do you remember? There was a dropout from Cartwright in the last few meters, it looked like, but no, it looks like he went to 0 for just a moment there, just to make sure nothing was happening. He went to 7.0 watts per kilogram for a moment, and then immediately right down to 0. So I'm wondering if he had a little bit of an issue there for a second when he was really throwing down some wattage, but now they're all back together, it looks like. But Van Geit here, 12 seconds off the back here, and now he's going to have to start thinking about who is chasing him, actually, as Vegan Porsche with Primon and Larson, Austrang, Purificati, Chain, all here making the chase right now. We do have, it looks like Velo Viewer giving us a little bit of a tweet there. Good to see him. Looks like getting involved with the social media, and it looks like Ben today from Velo Viewer saying not going well for me today. Well, we'll give him a cheer on. Everybody, if you can find Ben out on course right now, give him a ride on, let him know that we appreciate him and all the work that he does with Velo Viewer. Huge help, and actually a lot of his stuff is used over at zwiftblog.com actually to give us the profiles out on course. One of the main places that we go for the profiles that are out on Zwift actually in the virtual world. It looks like Van Geit here is only 7 seconds back from that lead group, but at 3.9 watts per kilogram, it looks like he may be bringing that heart rate down a little. Well, no, up to 5.2 or so. Maybe trying to hold these boys off. 15 seconds, though, Johnny, is nothing on this course. It's about a probably 12 to 13 minute total. Right now, they're actually doing 11. So, wow. They are doing 11:37s. Woo, that's crazy fast. And so it's going to be difficult to hold these boys off, though. But Jordan Chain now, the rider from Jelly Belly at 5.8 watts per kilogram, doesn't want to let him get away just yet.
No, and I think, coming into this reverse section of the S's, this is a place where you can really make that time up. We've got a few, dips, a bit undulated. If you're a smart trainer, these are the ones where you want to be kind of dropping it down and putting in the power as you go down the little dips and then powering out of them. Kind of trying to really keep that momentum, keep that speed up by changing your power. If you do that, you can really, really kind of gain some time up on this S section.
Yeah, the SE section is all about being punchy, actually, because you can use that downhill on the other side and really grab a ton of speed on the uphill. And then as long as you have a little bit of continuance on the other side, you can then just rest the legs a little bit and then have this like springboard each time as you kick up and over the top. And especially when you're part of a group, these boys, if they do push up and over the top of each one of these climbs, they can really start to gain some momentum together if they're willing to take some pulls at the front. But it looks like 4.8 is all that's going to be coming out lot of these riders right now, they are starting to think about the sprint, about the energy, about the matches that they're burning out on course. So it looks like here we do have a little ways back, then it is M. Brock with the Hedgehog and Loxley making the chase. Then we do have a group of a lot of Japanese riders actually all together here. Kita followed by Takashita and then Nakagawa. Yamakura is here as well. So these 4 Japanese riders all working really well together actually, for somewhere I believe just barely in the top 20. Steven Lindorf coming out of Germany then hanging onto the wheels there as well, with Hein then out of Switzerland from Team Experimental hanging onto those wheels. M. Gray is here riding unattached, followed by Retzloff out of Germany as well. F. Malo is there too. And it looks like we are looking around here. Stephen Fleetwood is a little ways back. We'll grab him as soon as possible. We do have Pierre Ficati, though, now up toward the front in this main chase group. And Van Geit here, still in no man's land. He's holding on to that 15 seconds, man. This is an absolute sufferfest. Just pinning it right at where you know you can. 260, 294 watts right now. Somewhere between 4.0, 5.0 watts per kilogram all day long coming from Van Geit as he tries to hold off Jordan Chain and this massive chase group. Well, not massive, but about about 6 riders here, I believe, that are in this group right now trying to chase him down. And Jordan, it looks like, willing to take up the main chase here at 5.0, 5.4 on the front now, as the other riders are just holding on to his wheel all the way through at about 3.0 watts per kilogram. I wonder if he's going to be able to hang on with these boys when they actually hit the reverse climb for the final time. This will be the final time up and over the top. It looks like Allenby here did throw down a attack here when they came underneath the sprint banner, and you know that was extremely tactical because you grab a power up every time you go underneath a banner. So he went on the sprint banner. On this course, you get it on the sprint banner, the KOM, and on the lap. So 3 options for a power up in 11 minutes, right? And so Allenby here looking for a little bit more random number games, a little more RNG to come into his favor, and it looks like he did have an arrow power up before he hit that sprint section, and so he used arrow power up as soon as he hit the sprint section so that his power up would actually re-up underneath that banner, and he probably grabbed another one. And this guy knows how to get the arrow power ups, it seems like, Johnny. Wouldn't you say that this guy, like, for some reason it's always an arrow power up with Allenby?
He has that amazing look to always get that helmet on and really, you know, power it seems to be every time, and he always manages to pull off the power up just as he goes underneath the banner, and then he gets another one. He's got some amazing look, and you know, this gap that he's got, you know, it started off at 5 seconds as he went underneath the sprint banner. It's now up to 13 seconds. This last lap, you know, do you think these guys will get it back up on this final climb, or do you think that's the end of it for these 2 guys?
I know that Allenby can hold a fairly high power for a very long period of time. We'll have to wait and see. We did have, it looks like, a few racers. All we have right now for the view right now is, it looks okay. So Cartwright is about 20 seconds back. Webb is just barely hanging on to his wheel. It looks like Webb's suffering pretty well. So Cartwright to bring back 20 seconds is going to be a big ask, I think, and he doesn't really have, it looks like, a lot of firepower coming with him right now. It looks like Webb is either playing his cards smart, but with 6 meters back, I think he can barely hang on at this point. And now 3.6, he's trying to get back onto Cartwright's wheel, it looks like. Maybe, though, Webb is resting up and waiting to try and get back onto his, getting back on his wheel, resting up so that he can try and close that gap. To try and close 20 seconds down, though, on these boys, I mean, they're throwing down, it looks like, 3:35. Wow, from that first one from M. Larson. And Webb with a 3:37. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit slower on this time over because that last one was one of the fastest we'd seen. And so in those 3:30s, these boys are really flying over the top. Allenby, if he can pull a 3:40 or so, and maybe Webb and Cartwright have something extra in the tank, but I doubt it after already doing 3 laps. I have a feeling that Allenby's going to be gone. 15 seconds, though. Only 15. This could get closed down pretty quickly, though. I'm not going to say it's over at this point.
No, yeah, these guys, they're going to have to try and balance it out because they've got like 15 seconds ahead to Allenby, but then just behind them, they've got 20 seconds to Van Geit. So they're going to want to maybe put in enough effort, but not too much that if they don't make the catch to Allenby, then they've still got enough to defend the podium places from Van Geit and potentially also Vega and Porsche from behind them.
Yeah, it looks like Van Geit here just about to be caught by Jordan and Vegan and Larson, Ostring, Purificati in there. Well, Purificati, I think, has been sitting in for a little while here, one of the ODZ riders, and maybe going to have a few extra watts to give up and over the top of the climb here. But it is only 10 seconds between these boys, and I think the power-ups are definitely going to be something to watch out for, as Cartwright does not have one, but Webb does. And Webb's going to be able to reserve a little bit of energy here because of this feather power-up. Cartwright actually had some sort of a connection issue there for a second, got put behind Webb there for a moment, and now it looks like Webb, with that power-up, is almost back on terms with Allenby. It is only 5 seconds, but he's going to have to put out a crazy amount of effort to get back up toward the front. Cartwright is now, we haven't seen this in a long time now, and at 7 watts per kilogram, he is falling off the back now, it looks like, and it's a full 22 seconds up to Allenby. It's every man for himself now. No groups are formed, and everyone's just going to have to go into a solo TT mode. Now Webb trying to kick it one more time, but it's only 2.5 watts per kilogram. It looks like Webb has given everything he's got, actually, or maybe he's just letting it go. Maybe he's playing sportsman-like conduct here a little bit, as I'd be surprised if he doesn't have anything left in the tank, actually, as we know this rider is crazy strong. But it looks like Cartwright here, 7 watts per kilogram, trying to get back on terms with Webb, but it looks like Allenby is going to be walking away with this one, as these boys are not putting out anywhere near the same kind of wattage that Allenby is up and over the top of this climb right now.
Yeah, you know, this the effort that Allenby's putting here, you know, he's really kind of had the look of all those power-ups there, and, you know, he's maybe had a bit more than some of the other guys, you know, just the way you kind of set them off, and, you know, the gaps between the 3 locations where you can pick them up can really play into your favor. You know, we've seen people in the community talking about, you know, maybe everyone should have, you know, the same amount of power-ups, just start with the same amount of power-ups and be able to select, you know, which one they want at which time. But I think, you know, the way that KISS do this is keep it nice and simple. You know, the way the KISS mantra, keep it simple, stupid, you know, it plays into it and really makes an interesting kind of race format, something that's exciting, a gamified race.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, there are races out there that you do not need, that block power-ups as well. So ZTR race is a race that you cannot use power-ups in. There's plenty of races out there where power-ups are not able to be used. And so if you like just mano a mano, you know, head-to-head racing a little bit more, then you can jump into those races where it's just what kind of power do you got, throw it down against me. At the same time, I did mention on the Zwiftcast in one of the last podcasts that I used to believe when I first got into racing on Zwift and riding and competing on Zwift, I'd always get really mad. And I still, you know, get a little frustrated. That guy's got a power up, obviously, if it gets an advantage. But at the same time, I think it does add a little bit of the random number games that are reality in real life, actually, that we do have. There's so much, there's a large amount of random number games and luck that you have to deal with in a real life race, actually. And I think that having the control in the virtual environment that we perceive, being able to see what everybody's doing, gives us a false sense of control and knowing what everybody's able to do around you head to head that you think that you might have in real life that you actually don't. There's so many actual occurrences and circumstances that can happen in real life. And so I think it almost adds a little bit more of what real life racing is kind of like, actually. But we do have Allenby off the front. Looks like he's walking away with this one, but it is going to come down here. It looks like Purificati, like we said earlier, the ODZ rider was saving something up, and with that aero power up gets right on with him, and look at this, he goes right by them. 8 watts per kilogram. He has to continue, though. He's got to hold that speed, because Cartwright, being a ruler type racer here, does have huge watts, 7 watts per kilogram. Are they going to drop off Webb back to 0 then? I think he is having a little trouble there. That is not something we usually see from Cartwright, in and out. Now he's getting in the Sagan tuck, though, as we do see Webb now hanging in there as well. It's going to be a 3-up sprint, looks like, for second place. Jordan unable to close it down, it looks like, and stay with Purificati. He dragged this boy all the way up, and now he got counterattacked over the top of the reverse KOM. Allenby, though, 5.0 watts per kilogram, and grabs another aero power up just to rub a little bit of salt in the wound, it looks like. But now Cartwright with his own aero power up on the downhill, actually, and this is the place to have it here. 75 kilometers per hour, 74 coming from Webb. He's going to get a little bit of space between himself and the other riders. I'm not sure they're going to be able to close it down, as these two are just kind of looking at each other. You going to chase him? Who's going to chase him? Somebody's got to chase him, and they just keep going to 0 watts per kilogram with 3 seconds going out. And Cartwright here now with a crazy crazy gap. Will he be able to hold on to it? Allenby is going to be coming around the corner here for the win today, it looks like. But then Cartwright 6.1. Webb is trying to go. Cartwright kicking one more time now, 59 kilometers per hour. Webb trying to go ahead of Pierre Ficati. Pierre Ficati following very closely there, right on the wheel now. Will he be able to counter and come around Webb at the last moment? But this is going to be a battle for third. It looks like Cartwright is getting away to the line now. Allenby now looks like almost teasing Cartwright. 1 point. Actually, he's going to let Cartwright win, it looks like. It doesn't even look like he's going to cross the line, boys and girls, as Cartwright here, 8.7 watts per kilogram, and Allenby with a little bit of the trollo there, maybe, and it looks like Pierre Ficati may be able to get the better of Webb now. Look at all the watts per kilogram, coming crazy watts per kilogram coming from behind here. Pierre Ficati just barely holding the rest of them off here, it looks like, but now it looks like Webb here is going to have to fight to the line, followed by Larson. That actually was Ostring, then Larson, and then Primon. Looks like Vegan Porsche was the next one across the line. What a battle for the top 5 to 6 there, all the way to the line, it looks like. A little bit of Marge Kaufman spotting out on course there, 64 plus. Give her a ride on.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a lot of sea riders. The sea riders are only doing 3 laps today. It looks like we've just managed to catch them coming as I see Pal Stockvik just going for the sprint now, just about to cross the line in a couple seconds. So sea riders are just all finishing their sprints off right now.
Yeah, Hollis getting the better of Friedman there. Winspur as well. It looks like Retzloff, though, now just about to come across the line. Behind wheel. Yamakura now with Hind. Wow, what a sprint. But it looks like Yamakura just barely out-sprinted Brock there from PTZ. We'll have to wait for the official results, as that was maybe too close to call. There was a bike throw right at the end there from Brock. The PTZ rider might have gotten the better of it. Looks like the Hedgehog's coming through the line here with Fuller as well. Looks like Sakdev from the C race just ahead of these boys with E right. Fuller as well from the B race just crossing the line. I think Fuller did win the B race today then, if he's just crossing the line there, unless he's got one to go. Looks like a few more C racers just coming to the line here with Kruger and Hill coming out of Canada now. And it looks like Davison, though, leading these boys out with Iwakawa up toward the front. Looks like Davison up and out of the saddle there in the C category race, just getting the better of the German rider, perhaps right to the line. He just barely nips it. Just enough effort, it looks like. We still can bring your tweets in, just so everybody knows. We still are watching for your tweets at Z Community Live. Just so you know, if you'd like to tweet out your post-race, anything you'd like to tweet out from your race, you can go ahead and do so at Z Community Live. We are getting a lot of comments actually over on the Facebook page, and Andy Baines, that's a great suggestion actually. It says, just try and finish a race. You can get only better and faster. Races any night or day of the week, but KISS on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday all have DCAT, usually less laps and distance. Go repping the women, Andy Baines is saying. I really like that comment. Right on, man. Thanks for the info to all the riders and racers out there for them. It's like, as we're looking through here, we do have A. Smith just crossing the line here, coming out of Great Britain. It looks like D. Norton for the PTZ riders actually making his way to the line, hammering away in the... And then we do have, it looks like Stephen Fleetwood trying to chase down Oxenham actually here. Zwift on board rider actually for Vision Cycling. It looks like Oxenham is just 12 seconds up. So we're about to see these riders come to the line here. It looks like Oxenham now perhaps just a little ways up there. Not going to quite be caught then, it looks like, by, Fleetwood. But here's Oxenham. Fleetwood about 13 seconds back. Jay Kerr from Vision Cycling then in the C race, right on his wheel, getting a little bit of a toe in to the line, a part of the C category race, it looks like.
Yeah, and also the riders are all over the place today. You know, all the categories split up, everyone mixing up together. As I do have Ben Veleviewer now mixing it up with some C and D riders coming over just over the KOM banner. Yeah, so this reverse course, you know, maybe you haven't got it in the legs. Everyone's been training on the forward courses for the past 6 or 7 months, and now since we've got this reverse course on the event module, you know, people aren't too sure, you know, how to get onto how to pace themselves across the different climbs today.
Yeah, this is a very different race than what we've seen in the past, that's for sure. We've seen a lot of flat Ocean Boulevard and a lot of hilly Watopia, but I'm really loving the new course, and it's a lot quieter too on the finish line. I'm able to it's much easier to follow the race if you're out there following the race in game, actually. Much easier to click through and see all the riders as they come in for their finish line, actually.
Yeah, well, I think that's what we've needed. We've seen the amount of people subscribed onto Zwift. It's going to amazing numbers that we didn't even think we could achieve. Over a year ago. And a big thanks, I guess, to John Mayfield and the product team for putting in the reverse event module, because it's really opened up a lot more racing road out on Zwift for everyone to enjoy.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So G Romy here, big kudos to Zwift on what they've opened up here and the ability to go backwards here. It's absolutely awesome, as well as the new Volcano route. If you haven't checked out the Volcano route, definitely something to go check out. You can also see our first look over at Zwift Community Live on the Facebook page for Zwift Community Live. We have a first look over there. That's I believe a pin post over there, so something that you can go check out if you haven't checked it out and you can't ride it anytime soon. You can see what it's all about. We do have M Blard here coming out of France with Romy. Ben Villavure trying to get back on terms with these boys, up in that 7.2 watts per kilogram, and it looks like the two Frenchmen are going to be able to get away from him. But Romy here right to the line. Actually, Villavure with 9.2 watts per kilogram. Does he have one last kick? There's about 100 meters to go, looks like, but not quite going to be able to pull it off. Like Romy's going to just barely get the better of his countryman, followed by Ben from Velo Viewer. Nice race to those boys. Now we do have, it looks like the B race coming in here with MR from Race WBR, the World Bicycle Relief Team, getting a little bit of an aero power up there, getting the better of Manson just at the line. Actually, it was Paderock, followed by Manson, and then Brian Hansen is the finish order, I believe. We'll wait for the official results from ZwiftPower.com as they update. Solid sprint in the B category race there. It looks like Monroe now making his way to the line here in the B category race as well, and riding for Z Sun actually, or is that a group ride I think he was a part of? We do actually have an event coming up tomorrow that you guys are going to want to pay a little bit of attention to, I think. A great event coming up tomorrow as we wait for a few more of the riders to make their way to the line. This ride with Mr. Scotty Weiss actually tomorrow on the Volcano route, something to be watching out for. So over on our Zwift Community Live page, we will have a live stream of the WVR Volcano, 3 to 4 watts per kilogram plus sprints actually, with the current world champion road race and individual time trial world champion Scotty Weiss. Actually is going to be he leads that every Wednesday. Actually, he runs a group ride, so something to check out. It'll be happening Wednesday 8 p.m. EST. It is an event in the game, so it is an event that you can join in the game, but it'll also be live streamed on the Facebook Zwift Community Live Facebook. So make sure to head on over there for that to watch your ride live and hang out with Scotty live. And he's actually been we've been upgrading his setup, and we've been working with him to get him to get really interactive, and he's actually done an amazing job just jumping right into his ability to just be a really great live streamer actually. So it's been really cool watching him not only be an amazing racer as a world champion, but start live streaming. So if you want to jump into that ride tomorrow night, guys and gals, great one to jump into. 3 to 4 watts per kilogram plus sprints tomorrow night on the Volcano course, 4 laps tomorrow. So really cool to see Scotty.
Nice. Scotty, you listen to him chat, he's got a lot of stories, a lot of information. He's been out riding competitively for like over 20 years, so he's someone definitely worth having to join him in the Discord channels if he's in there. Chat to him. I was out riding with him with Casey Shum just a couple of days ago, and yeah, really enjoyable ride. Worth hanging out with some of these guys if you're new to the community and you want to meet some other people.
Tisdale here now is coming across the line. The D category, was that a win? Or do we already have D category? But I did just see Lee just coming across the line there. Good to see him with that nice sprint there. Solid job in the D category coming from Tisdale. You guys were asking if we were going to follow any of the C or D riders, and we're getting the most exciting parts of the race for them. Robson now just sprinted to the line, it looks like ahead of Robinson from the BRT team, followed by Fleckenstein, and then Stromsholm, it looks like, for the Viking team that we were talking about just a little bit earlier, making his way to the line ahead of Fleckenstein just barely, and it looks like Fleckenstein's just going to barely hold off Light, followed by Lincho, and then Farhumand out of Germany there. Solid sprint there from all those B riders actually. Great job to them. We do have Fritz here for the women actually just crossing the line. Also part of the weekend social ride, it sounds like. Lynn now just coming across the line here out of Canada. Stuart Lynn, major race organizer actually out of Canada here, getting the better of C. Kaufman at the line here with Grange, Petrel, and then Mason, the next one across Now battling out with another Viking here coming to the line here, coming out of Norway, just ahead of M. de Jode out of Belgium, and Mortimer as well from the TFC team, the Friday Criterium team, a team we hadn't talked a lot about today, but a great organization out on course, the TFC Friday Criterium. They're in that yellow kit that you did see for just a moment there out on course, actually. We do have D. Martin here making his way to the line out of Great Britain in the D category. We'll give him a ride on 154 beats per minute currently. Solid ride coming from him. I am watching the chat over at the Face of the Book as much as I possibly. Sorry about this. 154 beats per minute currently. When I try and watch the chat, we get a little bit coming through there. Andy Baines saying, Team TFC hopefully cleaning up the sea cat. Andy Baines is saying, yeah, for sure. We are trying to watch the chat over at Facebook as much as we can. Sometimes it doesn't reload for us, just so you guys know. So unless I click back on that, and that's why we got a little bit of a second time through with my voice there. So following the chat over there can be a challenge at times. We do have Kay Morse here, Bianchi Girl. Nice job in the D category. We're going to try and grab the results here for you guys in just a moment. While we do that, you can see everything that's coming up on Zwift Community Live for the week of January 30th through the 5th. This is what will be broadcast on Zwift Community Live's Facebook page. Currently, we are broadcasting to Zwift's Facebook itself, but we will be broadcasting the rest of this schedule except for KISS Europe and maybe SCR tomorrow on Zwift's Facebook. But the rest of the schedule is over on Zwift Community Live, the official live platform for highlighting and showcasing the Zwift community. And if you've got a story, you've got something awesome that has happened through Zwift, or you have you want to come in and be hosted with your story, pre-race, post-race. If you have the ability to live stream and you want to put together some creative content to be highlighted in the community, you have a group ride like Scotty does that you want to have run live. And you've got the ability to live stream or somebody within there we want to highlight those things. That's what it's all about. That's what Zwift Community Live is all about, is highlighting all that's happening that's awesome in the Zwift community from all time zones. And so not just highlighting the Americas, the EU, but also Australia's, all of the different time zones from all over the world. We want to definitely hit all of them up for sure. So if you do have anything that you would like to add there, make sure or just communicate and get creative with, contact us over at Zwift Community Live, shoot us a Facebook message, and we will make sure to get back to you and help you get set up, actually. Fraser here with Roebuck now making their way to the line in the B category. It looks like just barely getting the better of McMurdo, followed by it looks like rider Sigurgrimur coming out of Iceland, I believe. And then we do have Bergenek here, followed by Sullivan. And then Jansen just at the line, just nipping, it looks like, Jankush out of America here. So Rob Jones then across the line, SRS UK. Behind them, Pattinson from the WBR here getting the better of Smithson, and then Langston following it up just ahead of the Swedish rider, it looks like Talliard. And then as Evans now making his way to the line now, it looks like just ahead of a chase group continuing. Denny, G-Joff here actually out of Great Britain here making her way to the line. Solid effort by her for the women. And we'll make sure to grab the results here and try and see what is happening with all of the categories out on course. So as we watch the rest of the boys and the girls cross the line here, as we have a battle with Glasper and Pike now sprinting it out, 4.0 watts per kilogram coming from the U.S. rider here, now hammering away 175 beats per minute. D. Clasper now hanging on that wheel, but unable to hang on with Pike, who has one last little kick to the line. 8 now in the B category for the women, it looks like. Solid ride for her. Followed by D. Bylan now, and A. Kiss here, just ahead of Gardner, who is going to be making his line to the line in a solo TT effort, it looks like, in no man's land, ahead of any other riders right now. So then as far as the results go right now out on course, we do have in the A category, as we saw at the beginning, toward the end of the A race, it was Tim Cartwright who came across the line in first place, followed by Allenby actually very closely. Allenby did get across the line, it looks like, just ahead of Purificati according to the results. We have to wait for official results though. Adam Webb with fourth place with the DQ next to his name. We have to wait and see what happens with the update. Then we do have as far as with what Zada has to say about that. Christian Ostrang then for 5th place. Michael Larson, 6th place from ODZ. And then we do have, it looks like Primon crossing the line in 7th place. Anthony Vegan Portolino coming in 8th place for Vision Cycling. Cohen Van Geit now for TKBE. And then Jordan Chain riding for Jelly Belly, actually, out of Canada, rounding out the top 10 today. And then in the B category, there is a huge upgrade going to S. DeBoer, actually, 5.2 watts per kilogram. He's going to need a Zada badge, actually, to have that. But then we do have, it looks like for actual first place, then we'll go with Matt Ray coming from race WBR, followed by Fabian Poderock, and then Nikki Manson in 3rd place in the B category. Moving our way down here, we are going to look for any of the women riders out on course. It looks like the first woman across the line then today would have been Jennifer Beatty coming out of the UK. And that's something we definitely want to highlight, boys and girls, something that we're looking to highlight in the world of Zwift is the increase of women's cycling. So if you got an awesome story or team or are racing, we'd love to highlight your story pre or post race, or add any we do have actually 2 women streamers that do stream with our Zwift community live, Lindsay Guerra and then Zuskana late night with the drop lactic acid on Fridays with her workouts. Really cool. But it looks like out of the United Kingdom, Jennifer Beatty, solid ride today with the win amongst the women, and it looks like a solid top, I believe, 20 or so in the B category amongst the men as well. So and then it looks like for 2nd place amongst the women, it would be, I think it is going to be Helen Lax. I am looking through here. Helen Lax coming in next then for 2nd place amongst the women, followed by, I think, Catherine D from the KRT team, but we'll have to wait and see for the official results to continue to update. In the C category race, we'll go ahead and find those results for you guys here. They are in a separate page. We do have, it looks like, riders still making their way to the finish line. We'll go ahead and jump over there and see if there's any more sprints coming in. Well, actually, no, it looks like everybody's just finished up. So we're going to just grab the rest for the C's and the D's, and then we'll be done today with the broadcast. And it looks like KISS C and D did 3 laps today for the KISS C and D race. And it looks like for first place, we do have quite a few upgrades. So make sure to head on over to ZwiftPower.com if you did race today and check out if you got an upgrade. If you have a red under your watts per kilogram, that means that you got an upgrade out of that category, that you raced in that category. And it looks like there are a few riders going from C to A and a few riders going from C to the B category. I'm going to call it as the first one across the line that is within the watts per kilogram. I mean, officially 4.2 watts per kilogram coming from Darren Murray for TFC. It says it's C with an upgrade, it looks like, to the A category, followed by Colin Williams and then Chris Velsvik. Those 3, lots of upgrades. Congratulations to everybody with those upgrades. That means they're just getting stronger. Quentin Van Eden then, though, first place will be, it looks like, the official without an upgrade then, riding for ZZRC, followed by Satvik Singh, and then Darren Guy, first-time racer, it looks like, across the line in the C category for 3rd place. In the D category, then, we did have Gareth Nichols, followed by Andy Gloria, and then Dam C, then coming out of France. For the women in the C's and the D's, let's see if we can see any of those little, trying to see if there's a marker next to their names. We need a, not ZwiftPower.com. They do plenty of work, and I'm calling them out on, you need to do more work. No, but if there were like a way to separate out for male and female, that'd be helpful. But we do have, it looks like, all right, we are seeing right here, Michelle Hertz, base WBR, it looks like, for first place, followed by Kate Morse, the Bianchi girl, it looks like. And then coming in 3rd place would be Gila Joff amongst the women out there on course in the C and D category. Great job to all the racers. All right, everybody. Johnny, it was a great race. I don't know if Johnny's still here with me. Nathan's been talking forever.
I'm still here.
Nathan, just shut up, man. Oh my gosh, you just keep on going on. Hey, that was a great race. Everybody got an amazing workout. It looked like they were pushed to their absolute limit, and that's the point of the racing out on Zwift today. That's for sure. So it looks like we got coming up next tomorrow. SCR.
Yeah, SCR, it's a great race series. Actually, it's not just one-off races like these KISS races. It is a race series where you get points that's accumulate over the whole series. I think it's 12 weeks of racing. So yeah, another great series there, organised by Martin Broekvik. And then and then after that in the evening we've got the Scotty Weiss ride out there as well. And quite a few other great events in the week. We've also had some good ones already so far. Like earlier on today, we did have the Lindsay Guerra life and cycling with Mrs. Coach. Definitely something to worth checking out for everyone. Whether you like racing or riding, not just Swifting as well. There's a lot of great information in there. That's speaks some truths. And a lot of things that are worth listening and picking up on. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, so that is the schedule coming up today. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in to the race. Thanks, Johnny, for helping out with the commentary. It's been absolutely awesome. Thanks for all the tweets out at us. We really appreciate it. And we will see you guys then tomorrow for the SCR 12 race series throughout the winter and spring. That's going to be heating up, it looks like, for the competition there, guys. So thanks a lot for everybody joining in, and we will see you guys tomorrow for that SCR race. Cheers and ride on.